Morning. Welcome to our November 17th, 2022 Enforcement Program Oversight Committee meeting. Three, please take roll.
Ariel Pay.
Here.
Nancy Corrigan.
Nancy Corrigan, present.
Luz Molina Lopez.
Luz Molina Lopez, present.
Dee Dee Owens.
Dee Dee Owens, present.
Joe Rosenbaum.
Joe Rosenbaum, present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. My name is Ariel Pay. Today is November 17th, 2022 Enforcement Program Oversight Committee meeting. The CBA has provided the opportunity for public to participate via WebEx platform. When we take public comments, we will begin by taking public comment from those individuals attending the meeting at the California Board of Accountancy headquarters. I will then ask the moderator to open up the lines for public comment. Quorum's established. Again, no, we're good. Okay. So, moderator, please open up for public comments. I'm sorry.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is going to be open for public comments. The instructions will be on your screen in just a moment. There you go. Members of the public, if you would like to participate, click on the Q&A, the question mark inside of a square, and type, I would like to make a comment in the text field that appears, and send it to all panelists. And if you are calling in, you can raise your hand by if you're calling in, you can raise your hand by pressing *3. And at this time, there's no request. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, thank you. The CBA's mission is to protect the consumer by ensuring only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with established professional standards. The mission is derived from the statutory requirements that protection of the public shall be highest priority for the California Board of Accountancy in exercising its licensing, regulatory, and disciplinary functions. Whenever the protections of the public is inconsistent with the other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. Okay. Item number 1, public items for the items not on the agenda. Okay. Okay, next item, number 2. Approve of the minutes from July 21st, 2022 Enforcement Program Oversight Committee meeting. Do I have any members that want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from their members? No questions. I will now open it up for public comment. Are there any members of the public at the Sacramento location who would like to make a comment? None? Moderator, please open up lines for public comment.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. If you would like to participate, the instructions are on the screen for your reference. Just click that question mark, type, I would like to make a comment in the text field, and send it to all panelists. Again, those calling in can press *3 to raise their hand. No request. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Reed, please take roll.
Nancy Corrigan.
Yes.
Luz Molina Lopez.
Yes.
Dee Dee Owens.
Yes.
Ariel Pay.
Yes.
And Joe Rosenbaum.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next item, item number 3 on the agenda, discussion and possible action to incorporate into disciplinary and petition processes the National Associate of Board of Accountancy, Center for Public Trust Ethics Leadership Training, Mr. Dominic Franzella.
Thank you. Good morning, members. So the purpose of this agenda item is to provide the CBA with information regarding NASBA's Center for Public Trust Ethics Leadership Training for possible incorporation into the CBA disciplinary guidelines and petition process. So a little bit of background. At the November 2020 CBA meeting, a NASBA CPT representative presented an ethics leadership training. NASBA CPT designed the program to help practitioners recognize ethical issues, resolve ethical dilemmas, and create an environment that promotes ethical practices within the state. Additional information regarding the training content can be found in the attachment for this agenda item. And presently, there are 14 states that use the ethics leadership training for some type of remediation purposes. The CBA has established the CBA disciplinary guidelines for use by administrative law judges, attorneys, CBA licensees, and staff involved in the CBA's disciplinary process. The guidelines cover model orders, including factors to be considered in aggravation and mitigation, rehabilitation, standard probationary terms, petitions for reinstatement, reduction of penalty, and guidelines for specific offenses. As part of the last edits to the disciplinary guidelines, CBA included an ethics continuing education requirement as a standard term and condition for all licensees placed on probation. The ethics CE term requires individuals to complete 4 hours of continuing education in course subject matter pertaining to ethics. But if the CBA wishes to incorporate the ethics leadership training into certain aspects of its disciplinary process, petition process, or both, they can start to do so on a case-by-case basis, which would be, at this point, limited to stipulated settlements and petitions. To incorporate it on a more permanent basis and in specific situations, the CBA would need to consider taking steps to add it to add it to its terms and conditions within the disciplinary guidelines. Staff do anticipate bringing an agenda item on updating the disciplinary guidelines at the January 2023 meeting. An agenda item will include a proposed plan for changes the CBA may wish to consider and plan for implementation. Staff can also prepare example language for the CBA to consider using on a case-by-case basis for this NASBA ethics leadership training for disciplinary and petition process in the future. There is no specific action on this item by the EPOC or CBA unless EPOC wishes to offer a recommendation to the board to have staff start considering this ethics training program on a case-by-case basis. So this concludes my report, and I'd like to turn discussion back over to the chair, and I'll do my best to answer members' questions.
Thank you. Are there any comments? I will now open up for public comment. Are there?
No. Well,
I'm sorry.
I'd like to make a motion, but if you want to take public comment first, you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll open up for public comment first. And are there any members of the public in Sacramento location would like to make a comment? I see none. Moderator, please open up for public comments.
This is the moderator. The Q&A is now open. Instructions are on the screen for your reference. Members of the public, if you would like to participate, click on the question mark inside of the square, type comment, or I would like to make a comment in that text field, and make sure it goes to all panelists. If you're calling in, you can raise your hand by pressing *3. No requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A?
Yes, thank you. Okay, Ms. Gordon.
Thank you. As I believe that this could be very beneficial in going forward, I would like, and I know that a motion isn't really required now, but I'd like to make a motion to recommend to the full CBA that for staff to consider and to work toward incorporating the NASBA CPT ethics leadership training into CBA's disciplinary and petition guidelines and process on a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I second. I completely agree.
Are there any questions or comments from our members? Seeing none, I will now open up for public comment. Are there any members of the public at the Sacramento location who would like to make a comment? Seeing none. Moderator, please open it up for public comment.
This is the moderator. The Q&A feature is now open. Instructions are on the screen. If you would like to participate, click that question mark, type comment, and send it to all panelists, or press *3 if you're calling in. No requests. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Ms. Reed, please take roll.
Luz Molina Lopez,
Yes.
Dee Dee Owens, Ariel Pay,
Yes.
Joe Rosenbaum,
Yes.
and Nancy Corrigan.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 4, discussion and possible action regarding information provided to individuals petitioning for termination of probation or reduction of penalty pursuant to Business and Professional Code Section 5115. Mr. Dominic Franzella.
Thank you. So the purpose of this item is to provide members with information regarding the petition process for individuals who petition for reinstatement of a certificate or reduction of penalty. And the revision staff have performed to the California Board of Accountancy Petition Hearings Manual, which is attachment 4 to your item. So members were presented a newly revised petition form, which is attachment 2 to this item, and the manual at the November 19th, 2019 meeting. The revisions were completed to ensure petitioners submit a complete petition package. The manual is provided to all individuals who are requesting a petition form and are considering petitioning the board for either reinstatement of a surrendered certificate or a reduction or termination of probation. The manual offers information on the overall petition hearing process, the role of the CBA, information on burden of proof, and references of prior petition hearings. Staff reviewed the petition information and documentation to provide members to ensure that they have the necessary information to assess petitioners' petitioning request and rehabilitation. The CBA confirms that prior to each CBA meeting, members are provided a copy of the CBA's disciplinary guidelines and model orders, as well as the manual. The disciplinary guidelines and the manual provide information and examples of rehabilitation evidence and criteria. CBA members must consider all competent evidence of rehabilitation furnished by the petitioner when assessing the petitioner's request. Staff have taken an opportunity to review and update the information provided to petitioners, including the petition form and manual. The petition form did not require any updates. However, there were several updates to the manual, and the revisions are included in the manual that is an attachment 4, and I'll highlight those, the more substantive changes. A section or an addition of language assistance was added to ensure petitioners are aware that the CBA can and will provide language assistance at no cost. The burden of proof section was revised based on amendments to the California Code of Regulations, Section 99.1, Rehabilitation Criteria. The information regarding rehabilitation evidence was updated to match the text included in the CBA disciplinary guidelines, which was recently amended. And the example of the petition hearing section was updated to provide petitioners with more current and recent examples. The review of the information and documentation provided to members and individuals who petition the CBA for reinstatement or reduction of penalty ensures members and those individuals are provided with sufficient information regarding the rehabilitation criteria and other important information pertaining to petitions, which assists the CBA when assessing the individual's fitness to safely provide accounting services. Staff have instituted a practice to look at these particular documents on a yearly basis to make sure that it is as current as possible and are reflective of any of the board's decisions and the petitions proceeding during that preceding year. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the chair, and I'll do my best to answer any members' questions.
Any questions? Yes.
Thank you, Chair Pay. I just wanted to point out the calendar of 2023 CBA meetings that are included in the packet. I don't have a page number, but I believe there's a typo for the January meeting. It says January 22nd through the 27th. I don't think we've ever had a CBA meeting that has been that long, but I just wanted to point out the typo. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more comments? Yes.
My comment is just thank you for doing this. I think that the more the petitioners could be prepared and understand exactly what the process is, the better and smoother the whole process will be. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, now I'll open it now for public comment. Are there any members of the public at Sacramento location who would like to make a comment? Seeing none. Moderator, please open up for public comment.
Says the moderator, the Q&A is now open. The instructions will be on the screen shortly. If you would like to participate, click on that question mark inside of a square, type comment, or I would like to make a comment in the text field that appears, and make sure to send it to all panelists. For those calling in, you can press *3 to raise your hand. No request. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, thank you. Item 5, agenda items for the next meeting. Members of our, I will now open up for public comment. Are there any members of the public at the Sacramento location who would like to make a comment? Thank you. Moderator, please open up for public comment.
The Q&A is now open. Members of the public, the instructions are on the screen if you'd like to participate. Click on that question mark, type comment in the text field, and make sure it goes to all panelists. Those calling in, *3 to raise your hand. No request. Would you like me to close the Q&A feature?
Yes, thank you. Okay. We are adjourned.